Re-entry tournaments are great. While all these other guys are scared money trying to protect their tournament lives, you can go out there, you race the 2 overcards on the flop, pick up a gutshot at a turn, get there on the river, put these guys all in and double up, and if it doesn't work, you can just fire another bullet. Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Andreas and I talk about poker news, poker life, and poker strategy. Before I head into today's topic of re-entries, I just want to let you guys know that if you have liked my previous videos, consider hitting that notification bell, because whereas subscribing is nice, more notification bells are actually better. To determine whether re-entries are good or bad, we mainly want to look at the agenda of different player groups. Let's start with all the recreational players. For recreational players, re-entries might be really good because let's say they drive to a place for like 1 or 2 hours, or even they fly there and they wouldn't have the possibility to enter the tournament a second time after they bust. Let's say they bust after 30 minutes. It really sucks. They just wanted to play the tournament. They bust early and now they have nothing to do. And they're playing mainly for fun. And now they cannot play the tournament anymore. So in that case, it's really bad for the recreational player. But an agenda of a recreational player might also be that he doesn't want the strongest players to re-enter relentlessly 7 times and then to potentially have more of those better players in a late stage tournament, for example on a final table, where he'd rather have other recreational players on there. And if the density of good players on the final table is higher, then the recreational player is not going to win as often and has quite slim chances of winning a tournament. And we can also look at these different agendas on Twitter. If we study the tweets and look at, okay, what these people are saying, this is really what it comes down to as well. People don't want others to have bigger chances in a tournament. They want things to be fair. And that's really what it comes down to, what the recreational players want, in my opinion, and what I've found so far. Then we have the slight winning players. Their agenda is to win money at poker, whether they're doing professionally or recreationally. They just want to be able to win. So for them, it's actually horrible that people can re-enter, especially as games get more competitive. The best players are never going to be out of the tournament until the re-entry phase is over. So their ROI decreases because of better players being or sticking around until the final table more often, because they actually re-entered a lot of times. Whereas sometimes before re-entries were possible, they had the chance for the better players to bust, so they would have a better ROI in the tournament for that reason alone. Now, the agenda of the people who actually win the most in poker, for example, the top elite players in the bigger buy-in fields are just the best players in small buy-in tournaments. They are clearly that they want re-entries. You know, if you drive to a place and you're trying to make money in a poker tournament, you want as many re-entries as possible, so that you never just drive there in order to bust after like 2-3 hours. And you know, you just want to maximize the amount of money that you can make. And the fourth group that can benefit from re-entries is obviously the guys who are hosting the tournament. More rake is actually better for them. So if they can rake the re-entries again, it's really good for the operator and they can make more money. Once we know the agenda of player groups, it all comes down to what we want to cater to. Do we want to have recreational players feel good about themselves so they have the equal chances in a tournament? Is that really that important? Or do you think that's just a minority that has those sentiments towards a poker tournament? Do you want to make sure that the people who have a lot of money can re-enter multiple times and, you know, lose a lot of money in those tournaments and generate a lot more rake? Do we want the professionals to be able, or the best professionals to be able to re-enter multiple times, maximize their earnings in a tournament? That's the question we have to answer. There's certainly good and bad to both sides, and it's just a matter of what outweighs the other. Personally, I think that re-entries, they have their place in poker, but there's a couple of specifics to that. I think that specifically for PLO, re-entries are great. PLO is a high variance game, and if you show up to a tournament place and you want to win a PLO tournament, not being able to re-enter is often going to be a disaster, because you can just be flipped out very early just in an unlucky multi-way pot. So I think a format like PLO really needs re-entries, whereas No Limit Hold'em needs it a lot less. And also, for example, it's location based and what the action is around this poker tournament. So for instance, in a poker tournament like the Battle of Malta, I think it's really important to have a re-entry option. If you don't have that re-entry option, people fly out to a place like Malta, they enter once and then it's done. I think this is really bad for a poker venue, and it wouldn't be the same if people couldn't re-enter in those tournaments. But let's say you are in a place like Rosodov where you could potentially have multiple tournaments throughout the series, or even better at the WSOP in Las Vegas in summer, then I think it's just totally unnecessary to let people re-enter too often outside of PLO tournaments and high variance formats, because there's always going to be other tournaments in town, there's always going to be lots of action otherwise. And I think that winning a bracelet, for instance, should be more prestigious if people don't re-enter it multiple times. And yeah, the prestige doesn't really get lowered that way. So I think it's really dependent on location, dependent on the game, and dependent on a couple of other factors that I don't want to really put into this video at this point, because I haven't thought of it in long enough, so I don't feel qualified to comment on it at the moment. But these are my thoughts so far. And I would also like from you guys to tell me what you think about re-entries in the comment section below. Are my thoughts way off of what caters to recreational players in this instance? Let me know in the comment section. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. As again, I mentioned at the start of this video, hit the notification bell as well as to subscribe if you like my videos. Hit the thumbs up to support the channel as well. And I'm going to see you for the next video.